Well, welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Today we have Marcie Young here with us as our spotlight speaker, and I'm just going to turn it over to you. She has several
Thank you.
topics to share.
Hi everybody, it's really nice to see you all, and mostly familiar faces, some that I don't recognize, but I do want to ask that if you have business cards or something, I'd like to have one because I already could give a referral to the small business 1099 person. And so I'm a business owner and a regional vice president with Primerica, and just to figure out what I'm going to speak about today, how many people are familiar with who Primerica is? Okay, a couple of people aren't. So I'm going to do just about a 3-minute presentation about who our company is, because it's easier, I think, for you and for our audience to see pictures. And then we're going to start talking about identity theft and what is going on with that today, which is, of course, one of the, if you're paying attention to all the things that are happening with your internet and your phone and the bogus stuff that you're probably seeing on your emails like I am getting on mine, what's going on with all of that. So I've been with this company since 1982, so I know y'all are doing the math real quick on that. And what this is sort of going to play into what the two brackets in the middle here are talking about with Philip and Jody, that why are people, does anybody here know anybody who's got financial challenges today? Right? Lots of us, or lots of people, and why is that? And so what we know is that do you feel like people have good financial education? Do they have a financial game plan put together? Do they work with a financial professional? And if they do, is that person working with them in the right field? Okay, I could tell some stories. So what happens is that, let me get this out of the way. There's serious challenges for Main Street companies, and for you number geeks out there, you can pull up the usdebtclock.org. And if you don't like numbers, it will freak you out, but if you do like numbers, you will learn a lot of things. And so, in short, what's happening with money is that in the year 2000, our average median income was about $30,000. Today, our average median income is around $37,000. That's 20 years. Our average median new house price in the year 2000 was $167,000. Anybody want to take a guess what the median new house price today is?
$350,000.
It's about $400,000. Okay, so incomes are not keeping up with real estate prices. That's just one thing to look at. That's not talking about debt, student loan debt, and so forth. I remember back when I was an early professional and I would sit down with a family and rearrange some of the things they were spending their money on. I could set up an IRA for dad, an IRA for mom, a money market account for their emergency fund, and a couple of college savings plans for the kids. Not take any extra money out of their budget. Just teach them how to spend better, get out of debt, change some things around in their insurances and things like that. Today, that's not even possible. There's a whole bunch of things I could talk about that. So anyway, are we working here? What's going on? Well, I guess we're stuck on this. Oh, there we go. So the problem with money is it doesn't come with an instruction manual, right? Everything comes with an instruction manual except the paycheck that you get. And so what we think is, actually, we think that financial education should be free, because what you don't know can hurt you. If you don't understand the time value of money, what the differences in interest rates are, how you can spend money to buy different financial products, what the difference is between fixed debt and revolving debt, how minimum payments work on credit cards. Phil, right? You with me, Philip? And so People ask these questions all the time. How can I save for the future when I have so much debt? One of the big problems that I see for everybody is we kick that can down the road. Oh, I'll save money next month, next year when I pay off this, whatever it is. Can I tell you something? Debt is always going to be there. There's always going to be something that pops up. So it's really important, I'm especially talking to younger people, that you start saving something. 50 bucks a month, 100 bucks a month, just do it and forget about it. You pay, when your gas prices go up, you pay more. When your food prices go up, you pay more, but you don't pay yourself. Just pay that fixed amount, because when you get to be a certain age and you look back, I will tell you, the most common response I get from someone who is over 50 is, I wish I had started this 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, or however long ago. And so just save something consistently all the time and start early doing that. Most people don't know what their FIN number is. That's how much money am I going to need when I retire. We have a quick analysis that helps people do that. What do I do if I got started late? There's things to do. There's a whole bunch of baby boomers that are in that situation that are figuring out what to do for their third act, right? If I die prematurely, what becomes of my family? Can I ever become financially secure? And so what our company does is we teach people about those concepts. This is called How Money Works. I have some complimentary copies of this booklet on the table for you. It's basically the 8 principles of take control of your money, pay yourself first. You can see all of those things on the screen there. And we provide this complimentary to people. And so what we do is we hope to get freedom from the things that you see on the left and freedom to get the things that you see on the right. And I'm going to let you read those or see them later so that we can save some time. What we really do is provide a total solution. So what I wanted to show you is we're nationwide. We have about 6,500 offices, 130,000 representatives, and we've been selected, we've been recognized by a lot of companies. Most recently, I'm really proud of the most trusted financial company by Investors Business Daily and most trusted life insurance company. And just as a personal plug, for the last 4 years I've been selected as one of the top 3 financial planners by Lincoln's Choice Awards. Although I have to, I am not a certified financial planner. It's the only designation that Lincoln's Choice Awards has. So just be aware of that. So anyway, so what we do at Primerica is basically provide free advice, free game plans, and then we have vetted a number of companies, and you can see there's a bunch of investment companies on the bottom, but we also do identity theft defense on the left-hand side, which is what we're going to talk about. There's senior health care, there's term life insurance, some mortgage loans, I don't get involved in that, and then Answer Financial and Vivint on the right-hand side. And so I just wanted to show you that because a lot of people, if they only have one program or product with me, they don't understand that we do the whole thing, because that's important. If you have a person who only gets one thing and they're like, I didn't know that you did that. So anyway, there's that. But today what we're going to talk about is identity theft. And does anyone here, let me get this adjusted here. Know anyone, or has anyone here been the victim of identity theft? Okay. What sort of experiences have we had? Did you raise your hand?
I did, yeah.
What happened with you?
My husband, just this, about 2.5 weeks ago.
What?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened?
So we got a call from First National Bank of Omaha asking if we were trying to open a new credit card, I think, and it was somebody in Arizona who had gotten his, and my husband's an insurance agent, so that created a whole problem. We had to call all 50 states, and it was a big mess. But,
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do you think that happened? How did they?
I know how it happened. It was a data breach at a mortgage company.
Okay.
So.
Any other experiences anybody would like to share? Stacy.
Somebody bought multiple pairs of cowboy
multiple pairs of
Yes.
cowboy boots.
Me, and I had to think twice. I was like, I do like cowboy boots, but I didn't buy that many. And so we had to go through the whole process of getting, that was 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. And so then you had to, what did you do?
I had to cancel my cards, and then I had all the places that had that card number then, I had to go give them new cards.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Haven't you paid this? Well, my card got, I have the new
Sure.
card number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a headache.
Wow.
This is a big
Christy.
one to think about. When you have your information stolen and they take a card out in your name, I've had that happen. They maxed it out. They were in China. They maxed it out on gaming, guys. Anyways, like within 24 hours, they maxed this credit card out. When I went and then I had to file a police report stating that it really wasn't me, so the credit card company wouldn't come after me for that amount. Then I had to go to the U.S. government. There's a credit identity theft portion of the U.S. government. My social security card number was frozen for 6 months. So I could not do anything I couldn't buy a house, I couldn't do anything because of this identity theft, just to make sure that people weren't still pulling credit in my name, which is something I don't think most people think about. And as an entrepreneur, owning your own business,
That could put
is huge.
That puts a crimp in your
Yes,
style.
yeah.
Wow. Anybody else want to, what really dramatic examples?
Sorry.
Thank you for sharing.
It's true.
Really, identity theft is now the crime of the century. It is, well, as of 2 years ago, the Federal Trade Commission had it as one of the 3 top national security threats. But I think that we're going to see I don't know if you guys have seen on the news, but China has infiltrated U.S. systems like our dams and our water supply and things like that. And so cyber theft is just the catch-all for what you can do with electronic information. And so what we're dealing with here specifically is your personal identity and your personal information, but it can move into something that's larger, like national type things. So in 2022, Americans lost $8 billion to identity theft and fraud, which is almost a 50% increase from the year prior. In the last 3 years, annual reports of identity theft have doubled to more than 5.7 million. I don't know what the numbers are in terms of people who have identity theft protection, but I'm going to end up with a recommendation to you to purchase something. And we have one. Of course, I'm going to pitch it to you, but you're welcome to find anything. I've checked them out, and I think what you would get with the program that you have with us is you also have a local person that you know and understand. I'm sure a lot of people here have heard of LifeLock. Okay, did you know that the president of LifeLock got hacked? So, I'm going to leave that one alone. How do you know when it's going to happen? That's the other thing. How do you know if your identity hasn't already been stolen, your identity hasn't been compromised? Lots of examples of bank breaches, back office data breaches. There's several examples. I didn't put them up here. Lots of times those hackers will sit on those identities until they think that the heat is off. It might be 6 months or a year, 2 years or so, and then they go in and use your identity. So what happens is, on the average, let me back up for a second. Stacy, when you were taking care of canceling and redoing all those cards, do you have any idea how much time that took? Hours and hours. And the stress that's involved, was that fun?
Yeah, no, because I was in grad school at the time, and so I was trying to finish
Oh, jeez. Okay. So on average, it takes about 6 months and 100 to 200 hours of your time. So if you're thinking about, it's not just your time, it's the time that's taken away from your business, your family, and that sort of thing. So it makes sense to have some identity theft program that actually handles everything. Lots of us can call our credit card company or our bank and they'll stop that, but that's just one thing. What happens if your driver's license is stolen, or your social security number is stolen, or your Medicare, if you're a senior citizen card, is stolen? Because then that becomes a larger problem for people. This comes from the Economic Crime Institute at Utica College. This is from several years ago. But basically what identity fraud is it's the use of false documents or things like credit card or driver's licenses and so forth that can spawn other documents. So if you think about who's traveled recently on an airplane, right? What do you have to use for your identity? Your driver's license or your passport if you're traveling internationally. Or if you've lost your driver's license, you can use your passport. Ask me how I know. And so then what you can do is it allows that person to create a new fake identity for you, so that they can then go in and borrow money and create business, do all kinds of things. And once they've done that, there's other economic crimes. I was reading on one, I didn't put it on this presentation, in Utica, New York, where a group of people went in and bought a bunch of houses, okay, and bought the houses and then sold them and got the cash out, because that's laundering the money. Insurance-wise, people have dumped a bunch of money in insurance, cash value insurance policies, and borrowed out the money, because that's a way to launder money, okay? So, cryptocurrency. Do we have any cryptocurrency fans here? Okay. So in 2022, 53,000 people reported losing money. There's probably more that did lose money that just didn't report it, and it's 1.4 billion in crypto scams. The problem with crypto is it's air. There's nothing there. There's nothing. So if it's gone, it's gone. Now, I'm not saying crypto may not be something for the future. I have no opinion about that. We're just talking about fraud right now. And so, how do people get scammed with cryptocurrency? Well, social media is a hot spot. People say they saw an ad, a message. I had one guy who said, I ran into a buddy at the gas station. He told me he made X number of dollars and I should invest in crypto. Oh, so your buddy this guy who works at the, yeah, I have to be careful. Other fraud examples, celebrity endorsements. We're all trained as a society to look up to, celebrities like they know more. And so criminals who are posing online as billionaires. How easy now is it to do that? I think we've all seen, if we watch the news, that there's artificial intelligence, AI, that can go in and manipulate your face, manipulate your voice, your words, so that it appears that, Ray is saying something when really it's the bad guy, right? That's, wow. There's a whole new level of awareness that we all have to have, instead of just believing that, because Thaddeus said it and that's his face and his voice, maybe it's not him. How do I know for sure?
Certified. Certified test.
Anyway, billionaires saying your investment is good. Can I tell you something? If they have already posted it there, it's not a good investment, right? Pump and dumps, right? People invest in it because so everybody's doing it, and then they dump their stock and you get left holding the bag. Ponzi schemes. There was something called Forsage that used the investments from the new investors to pay high returns to the old investors, so they could post that there were high returns happening, and a Ponzi scheme collapses because eventually you find out there is no actual investment. It's just new money coming in to pay the previous investors. They took in $340 million while they were promoting it on social media as a legitimate low-risk investment. And how many of us have been trained, like, where did you get that? Oh, I saw it on. For me, it's Facebook, right? Romance scams. Anybody know anybody who that's happened to? I do, right? Also, fake driver's licenses, we've covered that. Fake verification codes. Text me, if you're buying something on Facebook, on Marketplace, and they're like, give what's your cell phone number so I can text you a verification code. Now they've got a piece of your information that they can then use to steal the rest of your identity, right? That's what we were talking about, right? Yeah. And then elder abuse. I think some of you, again, I only watch the news because that's when my husband and I have dinner, but I do that. And somebody locally got, was it $1.3 million that he lost because of being befriended on Facebook or something like that, elder abuse. That's really tragic. Or I heard another one where the grandchild, they did artificial intelligence and changed the grandchild's voice and called grandpa, I'm in trouble, I need money. And grandparents and parents of children, of course, are going to want to do anything they can to protect their children. Lots of ways to have those sorts of things happen. So what can happen is, how do you protect yourself? Well, use trusted institution. I'm not saying just that, but make sure you're using an institution that you trust. Monitor your credit score. Delete and report suspicious emails. For sure, don't open them, right? There's lots of other things that you could put on here. I think I have like a filter that filters out the scam stuff. It doesn't get it all anymore. But don't use texting to provide financial information. Please don't take a picture of your driver's license and text it to me, okay? And when you are sharing financial information, which you have to do sometimes, then use encrypted data. Never ever use an email that isn't encrypted when you're working with anybody, really. And so the program that I'm going to share with you is called Identity Theft Defense. This program was started about 9 or 10 years ago now, and it is a partnership between Legal Shield and Kroll. So if you're familiar with either of those companies, Legal Shield is a nationwide company that for $28 a month, you can have legal advice. It's a provider law firm in every state, and there's 15 or 16 different things that you can have through Legal Shield, like your will package, your living will, durable power of attorney. That's a big thing for me recently because I've gone through a lot of deaths, and the children don't have wills, the parents don't have wills, and that creates another burden on that family if you have to go through that process. And then Kroll is the nation's largest investigative service. And so the two of those partnered together and created this identity theft defense. And I want to mention this $11 a month for an individual and $22 a month for a family. To get the same, I did the comparison with, and I don't mean to pick on LifeLock, but they're the one I did the comparison with at the time. LifeLock, to get the same services, you'll pay about $58 a month for a family. And I think for the individual, it's like $20 a month or something like that. So there's other services out there. Feel free to do your own research. But I pay $11 a month for insurance on my phone, right? Anybody else got insurance on your? Am I the only one? Right? If I can, for a phone that's probably not worth anything, right? $800 or whatever, if you lose it and need to get a new phone, $11 a month. So I also pay $22 a month in our family for identity theft service, and it covers everything. And so that's what we're going to look at. So you can see here it's like credit inquiries, applications, new applications, username and password monitoring, sex offender monitoring. It has $1 million of insurance warranty. That's not unusual. But what the main thing is, it does all this monitoring for you, dark web monitoring. But essentially what happens and pre-existing conditions will count. So if you already have this, what will happen is one individual will take over your loss and make you whole and do all the work that you had to do on your own. What's that worth? I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to deal with that, okay? So they keep the cases open for 120 days. They'll search for other instances of identity theft. They'll review your credit history for any other fraud areas like public records, credit accounts, addresses, and so forth. And they work until all of the resolvable issues are addressed. I think $11 is a little bit, teeny tiny bit of money to pay for that. So if we talk about monitoring, they do give you email updates immediately. Actually, I think now they have an app. They do have an app that they let you know that way. You have consultation, so even if you don't have an issue, you could call them and ask questions about whatever the issues might be for you, and they can walk you through. Here's another thing I like. They're available 24 hours a day, every day. Legal Shield is available 24 hours a day. I was on the phone with a question with a provider law firm, or the attorney from the local law firm, and he's like, yeah, I can't do that because I'm on call. He has to take his Legal Shield phone home with him and sleep with it so that if he gets a Legal Shield call in the middle of the night, he's on call to answer that. I think that's pretty cool, especially if you have like teenage children or whatever. Yeah. So, why doesn't it work sometimes?
Marcie, they have made it so you can check your credit reports free every week now.
Oh, really? They being?
As in whomever the powers that be came across last year sometime, that now you can check it free every week.
Free every
of
week.
All three of them.
Wow.
Isn't it ridiculous that that was never an option before?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want credit
It's your
score.
credit score?
Yeah, but you could do it once a year.
Yeah, you should,
Yeah.
once a year.
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
Now you can do it every week.
Yes to both of you. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And then if an event does occur, your investigators will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore a member's identity to its pre-theft status. To me, that's some great peace of mind. So also a few other resources. I think Christy already talked about this. Report if money was stolen to you through any kind of a scam, not just virtual currency. Report it to the police so that you have a record of the loss. Okay? Report it to the Federal Trade Commission at reportfraud.ftc.gov. And if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, there is ftc.gov and then /cryptocurrency. So that's a little bit about that. I do have just a brochure I'm going to put up on the screen to show you that. And then I'm open for questions or comments.
I have questions.
Something else I was thinking about too is I used to be an enrollment manager at a college, and people didn't know that their children's identity had actually been stolen until they would go and apply for financial aid. And they found out that someone had bought a boat and a house in Florida on their kid's social security number.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping not only your identity, but also your children's identity by not posting name and birth date on social media, things like that. People can take out a social security number before you can, and then take that identity is important. So doing that family plan with identity is really important, no matter what age your kids are, before you go to college. And
That's
find out
true.
that kids can't get loans because their credit is.
Yep. So you see at the very bottom it says monitor child monitoring. So true, because when do we get our children's social security numbers? At birth, right? And then when do we use their social security numbers? Not for years.
At tax time.
Or at tax time, right? But to go, get something so that social security number could be compromised for years. That's a really good point. There's also this, I saw it in here, lost wallet consultation. That's important. Anyway.
Marcie, I have a quick question.
Yes.
So the identity theft works with Legal Shield. You also offer a product through Legal Shield, correct?
Yeah.
That covers your wills, your.
Correct.
That is a separate
That is not identity theft, correct. So I maybe wasn't real clear on that. So Legal Shield is a lawyer insurance, is what I'll call it. And then identity theft is for identity theft protection. Yeah. And the Legal Shield is available. You can probably just go sign up direct, but we have a marketing agreement with them, so if you sign up through me, then I get paid a small compensation for that. Just full disclosure. But ID theft defense is a Primerica product, so you can only get it through a Primerica representative. You can't search for this online and find it and sign up for it that way. You have to go through me. Yes?
Norton offers a product called Reputation Defender.
Yes.
Does that dovetail with this in any way? I mean, have you had any experience?
I'm not familiar with it. I'll research it. Tell me about it.
And it's not so much identity theft as it is reputation theft or reputation demise.
Because reputation score is now a thing.
Yes.
It's relative to social media, online presence.
Yeah. Didn't use
So just curious, and maybe if anybody else, do these two, I'm thinking sitting here.
I have an answer for you because I just remembered that we updated this plan, and there is now a reputation monitoring program in the enhanced. Let's see if I can find it. I may not even have the new stuff up here. I saw it though.
You personally and your business, because you see people's Facebook business pages get hacked, when they're running some kind of.
That's a great
giveaway or
question.
something. Is it me personally and my business, or is that a separate one?
That's a great question. The premium version of this will cover identity theft presentation. There's some brochures here if you guys want to.
My guess is it's two separate entities.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if it does cover your business and.
I would guess it would be two separate entities, yeah. And there it is. The Platinum plan covers that.
Oh, that's interesting with mother's maiden name monitoring. I always think about that as a security question, My cousin names their kid my mother's maiden name, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's just this.
Yep, there it is. Financial threshold account monitoring, reputation management, reputation score, and 3 credit bureau monitoring has just been added. So, but that would be in a premium, not a basic. So that would be another $6 a month for that. And I don't know about businesses. I'm going to find out about that. Yeah.
I think with a lot of solo LLCs, I'm hoping you.
My guess is it does not.
Don't think so?
No. You probably go to your insurance agent you've got business insurance probably, check with them
That's a good,
to see if it's under there, and if it's not, why isn't it? Because since your business is here and this is personal, as a rule, these two insurances, do not go together. So check with your business insurance person, ask if it's there.
yep, great
A lot of
questions.
times your homeowner's insurance has your identity theft protection built into that as well.
It depends.
Check with your agent.
Yeah, check and then compare, because when it's like with everything, you can say I drive a car, but because it has 4 wheels and an engine and a steering wheel, there's a lot of differences.
Well, and the sad thing about ID theft is it's happening to almost everyone because, how many banks, hospitals just here in Lincoln, life insurance companies have your information's out there. So it's almost, you almost need it as much as you need life insurance or a will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you do not have a will, please get one, because a friend of mine's brother died, no will. It's a disaster. So if you do not have a will or need it updated, please do it for your family's sake.
Let me put an addendum on that. Even if you don't think you need a will, because I'm single, I don't have any assets. I was at a East Lincoln Business Association, actually, presentation a couple of years ago, and a female attorney, it was her turn to present, and she posed that question, how many people here are single and don't have a will? And a guy in the back stood up and he said, I don't need one because I don't have any assets, and you know, my IRA goes to my parents already. But she said, okay, if you're in a car accident, for example, and you're unconscious in the hospital, or your parents have to make the decision to pull the plug on you or to sell some of your assets that their name isn't on, then they have to go through all of the machinations that you have to go through, and while they're in a state of shock and grieving, and it's more expensive and so forth. So just take the time, and even if it's not about your assets, it's about what your wishes are if something happens. And having a durable power of attorney, and if you can get it through Legal Shield, it's free, you guys. It's free. It's okay.
The Nebraska Supreme Court has power of attorney and healthcare power of attorney paperwork that you can download. And it's literally fill in the blank. Who do you want?
There you go.
It's absolutely free, and you just go get it notarized.
There you go.
Witness.
Same. Yep. You can do it that way too. Yep. Anyway, thank you for those comments.
Well,
These financial professionals in the room.
there's a lot of us.
Yep.
I was having a conversation with someone, and they're like, I was encouraging, you need a will, and they said, yeah, because I don't want the government deciding what they're going to do with my stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't give tax or legal advice, but get an attorney. Get legal representation.
Yep.
The will.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure if downloading the will package. I agree with with durable power of attorney and that, but as far as the will, my recommendation would be have it done with a professional, not just a piece of paper that you get off the internet.
There's nuances you'd never think that.
Right, exactly.
Well, and a couple of them are executives of your will. Who's the power of your health?
Health power of attorney.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
so who's going to decide, do you want the person that really dislikes you having power to decide whether or not to pull the plug?
Well, that's it then.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Any other questions?
I have a couple questions. for
Yes.
you. We asked all of our speakers, what keeps you perked up and motivated to keep doing this work?
That's a great question. And last year, I should say, I just decided I wasn't going to say no, and I ended up traveling internationally to several places, and I was gone for more than 2 months in total. And so I had like 2 weeks in Egypt, and 2 weeks in Costa Rica, on a solo trip. There were people, but I wasn't with anybody, and so I had a lot of time to think. And because I help people retire, I work with people who are retiring all the time, quitting their jobs and moving on, and I could do that too. But when I think about it, you've heard of a food desert? Okay, there's a financial information desert in the country today, especially in middle-income America. And if I can't retire because the wealth of knowledge that I have needs to be shared to help other people. And besides, it's easy. I mean, it's not like you're throwing a hammer or lifting stuff or doing anything. It's not difficult to do to sit in a chair and run your mouth, right? So, and I love it. So on the inside, when you get this, that sort of thing, I still have that. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, good question.
Second question. Do you have a favorite or amongst your favorite local restaurants or shops where you like to?
9 South Char Grill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes me sad.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
That was-
And I like pho, so I'm anything that has to do with a pho place, yeah.
The chef and owner at Metal Grill was at 9 South Char.
I know, but the menu's not the same.
sounds.
Christie's still in mourning.
Because they had a location in Hickman, and then they moved to Lincoln.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Any final comments or questions?
So
Oh, go ahead.
I have brochures there. Take a pen if you like. And do we have a sign-in sheet? Did everybody sign in on the sign-in sheet? You did? Okay. I have a. I'm just going to pick a random number. No, I don't need it. How many people are on the sheet?
9.
Okay. Well, 7 is the lucky number that gets a Safeguard wireless identity theft protective case. So who would that be?
Real account.
Hey, see? Look at that.
There you
Sorry, is
go.
this your job? I'm sorry.
it-
Okay.
You were
Verify
fantastic.
that, number 7.
I want to get the gaming commission.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and I really appreciated all the comments and so forth. So, thank you.
Feel free to stick around, network, chit chat. We've got coffee in the kitchenette, and we'll see you next week. It's National Entrepreneurship Week next week.
Ooh.
And our speaker will be Bill Jury, and he's a new Focus Suites member here.
Ooh,
And,
I might come.
you should come. Everybody should come.